All right, so we got some great news. Looks like Josh Taylor Regis Prograis fight is still going on. I think it's going to happen October 26th up there in London. Um, I know the UK is not in a great spot, but really just overall in general with the fighters, James DeGale, I think he's retiring. Um, Carl Frampton is, he's kind of lost a step. Kell Brook, he's lost a step. Khan, he's lost a step a little bit. AJ, he's kind of like in a midlife career crisis move. Eddie Hearn is always into some shit. Dillian White got caught on the juice. Um, Tyson Fury, though very good, he's fighting, nobodies. Um, so the UK is kind of a rough spot. It's scary to admit. Billy Joe was a good fighter, but he got caught in some, you know, kind of gray area drug, um, and he hasn't really had a big fight really since Lemieux, and that was what late 2017. So he's kind of just holding on to his belt. He's not really challenging himself. Not saying it's all his fault at times, because I do think he did duck Triple G at a point. Um, but what he did with Andre, that was bad look. He's at 168. I think he just signed with Eddie Hearn, so I assume they'll probably try to make a unification between him and Caleb Smith at some point. Maybe within two fights or so. Good style clash. So we'll see. We'll see. So hopefully that can improve. But the UK, like I said, they had a hot 2015, 2016, and then right around 2017, 2018, UK fighters started to just take down a notch. One fighter from the UK is really good though, Josh Taylor. I think he's the guy to beat at 140. I like Regis Prograis a lot. Like his talent, very athletic. Kind of fights in burst, but probably the hardest puncher in that division, at least per capita wise. Regis is really good, but I think Josh Taylor is kind of the guy to beat. Um, Jose Carlos Ramirez is really good. He beat Maurice Hooker, stopped him close to his hometown. Um, Ramirez can fight. Ramirez is really good. He can give either guy problems. Don't get that twisted. But I think both Regis and Josh Taylor would probably beat Carlos Ramirez. Um, like I said, I think Josh is the guy to beat. But it is going down. I guess there was some issue early on, because something going on with the money. Always with the World Boxing Super Series. Ever since they've done it, I want to say 2016. They started I think they had their first World Boxing Super Series. No, it was 2017. I think they had their first season. It's always been kind of a money issue. And actually, back-to-back Ludabella fighters with Ivan Barachnik, the last fighter to fight Josh Taylor, and now Regis Prograis. At least so far now, it looks like the fight's going to happen. The final's going to happen. So, um, but back-to-back Ludabella fighters kind of not crying, but saying that the something going on with the money. The money's funny. So, um, and I don't think they were the only fighters, but I think they were like the biggest names to have that claim. So, I love the World Boxing Super Series concept. Obviously tournament style, best fighting the best. Of course, I don't think they had all the best fighters, but some fighters didn't prove themselves till later on. In fairness, so which happens, it happens in boxing. So, um, like now, if you had to redo the tournament, you probably would say, Taylor, Prograis, Ramirez, Hooker, Barrios, Ryan Martin. Um, for publicity, maybe you could have thrown in Broner. Who else? Maybe even Mikey or something like that. So, it's a little bit different now, but the money was the issue, the main issue. And like I said, I understand why people have kind of reservations about fighting over there in the UK. It seems like UK fighters get like different exemptions. It's just the US has the most strict, or has more strict drug testing. Not that ours is great by any means. VADA or USADA, neither one is. I don't think either drug test is or agency is great, but ours is clearly a step above the other ones. It always seems a little bit fishy elsewhere, um, but I'm just glad that's still happening. I think it's the two best fighters at 140 at it, going at it. So I'm glad it's happening. I think Regis did say after Taylor beat Broshnik that he would be willing to go to Scotland um, to fight Josh Taylor. It's not going to happen in Scotland. I think it's going to happen in London. So, um, but it's a really good fight. I think it's probably, I would say it's the best. It's probably the best matchup at that division, probably since Danny Garcia and Lucas Matisse. Like, what was that, 2013? So that's probably the best matchup since then in terms of skill, talent, fighters in their prime, um, in a unification type atmosphere. Even though that was actually a title defense, but Matisse was recognized as like a championship level fighter. Most people thought he got robbed versus Zab Judah and Devin Alexander. Actually, you know what? I did think he beat Devin Alexander. Yeah, I don't know if he got robbed in those fights, but I thought he won those fights for sure. So, you could have argued Matisse should have been undefeated when he fought Danny Garcia, but um, it could be interesting because Matisse was never the same after the Garcia fight. So we'll see what happens with Taylor versus Prograis, but I think it is the best matchup probably since um, Danny Garcia versus Matisse. It's a great fight. Um, could be potential fight of the year. I'm picking Josh Taylor to win that scrap. I think he's just overall the more skilled fighter. You could argue Prograis might be a hair more talented. Maybe I don't know. Taylor hits pretty hard too. They both got power, but I think Prograis has a slight power advantage. Um, but Taylor's gonna have the reach advantage, the height advantage. Um, got a slept-on resume. He's the first to stop Miguel Vasquez. Canelo fought Miguel Vasquez twice when he was coming up, and he never stopped him. In fact, I think Canelo struggled in their first fight versus Miguel Vasquez, whereas Josh Taylor beat the snot out of him for like 8 rounds. So, um, you know, both fighters really good though. Prograis, he beat Terry Flanagan pretty well. Not outboxed him, but well, he outworked him. However you want to say it, he outworked him. Um, Stopped Kirill Relic. That impressed me that he did stop Kirill Relic. I didn't think he. Can't remember if I said he would or wouldn't, but that was impressive. Um, so we'll see what happens with Josh Taylor Regis Prograis. But I'm glad the fight's happening. It's still happening. Like I said, I think it's the best matchup in that division, probably in easily the last 5 years. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think they should still stick with the World Boxing Super Series? But it seems like it's always getting like in money trouble, and they've never had the right promotion. They've never had a big network kind of follow behind it, like ESPN or HBO or Showtime or Fox. So it seems like it's going to be hard to keep doing the World Boxing Super Series when fighters are continuously complaining about money issues. And not to mention, they're not putting in the promotion behind it. And, it's not on any real network. So, I kind of get why it's not doing well. Kind of like the Zone. You guys are not promoting yourselves. Even though they've had a couple of solid fights, just not promoting it. Got to put the word out there. So we'll see what happens. But let me know what you guys think. Are you guys happy like I am about the Taylor and the Prograis fight is still going to happen? Drop comments, like, subscribe. Stay tuned. You guys take it easy.